What's up, y'all? Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing? I hope y'all are having an amazing day. It is Saturday and it is second Saturday. And why second Saturday is the bomb.com? Because second Saturday is where we do our heart pours. So, for those of you who do not know who I am, if you're new in this space, hi, I'm SG Marie, and I am the founder of the Heart Pour online creative wellness community, where we gather and we allow what is in our heart to pour out, so it does not spill into other spaces and places in our lives. Okay, so yes. Today, we are going to get into what I like to call a technique called dirty pour. So, in a moment, I will share my other screen and you'll be able to see the setup and what we are getting ready to do today. But what I do want to go over real quick is our focus for July. So, the focus for July is blue. So you see, I put on my blue shirt. And the reason the color focus is blue is because of what blue represents. So, in the world of color psychology, colors are more than just cute things for us to look at. Colors represent things. Colors persuade us in a way. There's a connection that happens between color and between us and how we receive them. If you really think about it, and when you look at it, color by way of color psychology, there are certain ways in which advertisers use color to get us to do what they want, right? And so, besides them being able to use color in that way, why not us begin to learn what these colors mean, how we can use them in our own lives for our own wellness? So, that is ultimately what I aspire to do. I aspire to help y'all really understand color in a way where you can utilize it and use it to process. Now, how did I get into this style of art? Because I do many different styles of art, but specifically this abstract pouring, this came about as a method of healing for me. I started doing this in a time where I was grieving. And I had no idea that this grief that I was experiencing was going to evolve and turn into something that now brings me joy and allows me to expand that to the lives of other people. And so that is kind of where me getting into this whole dirty pour technique came about. Um, and so, what I want to do is share with y'all. Sorry, loud cars. So, what I want to do is share with y'all the theme for July, which is sacred rest. Why sacred rest? So, within my goal setting planner, there is a focus scripture for the month of July. If you've been on my Instagram, if you've been on my page, you've seen me post July. The focus scripture is Mark 5:36. Don't be afraid, only believe. And if you catch my morning meditation, you will see the backstory into where all of that comes from, right? Don't be afraid, only believe. And so the theme within July also is sacred rest. And how that ties in is when we are resting in God, when we have full belief in what God is doing in our lives, we can rest. We don't have to hustle. We don't have to be anxious. We don't have to try so hard to make things happen because it's not us who makes it happen, right? We yield ourselves, yes, but we don't necessarily have to do all this extra hard work in order to allow for what God already has purposed for our lives to come to pass. So this month, the focus is sacred rest. And I just want to share with you one of the first devotionals that comes with the Heartpour membership. So each month you get a devotional, and this devotional has things for you to reflect on, journal prompts, and different things. So this digital product is available whether you join the membership or not, but it is free for those who are a part of the membership. Now, devotional one within the Sacred Rest devotional for July says, "Come unto me." Your focus is receiving rest as a sacred gift and not as a reward. Some of us were taught to carry too much, to push through, to stay strong, to earn peace only after work is done. But Jesus doesn't call the perfect or the prepared, He calls the weary. He doesn't say, "Come to me once you have it all figured out," which is what a lot of us try to do, me included, guilty, 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 trying to figure it all out. But he says, "Come now." In Matthew 11:28, Jesus says, "Come unto me, all who are weary and burdened and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Rest is not a reward, rest is an invitation. It's not something you have to strive for. It's already been spoken over you, it's already been given to you. But are you willing to receive the rest? So, the question that I want you to consider: where in your life have you been resisting rest because you felt like you had to earn it? What would it look like to accept rest as an act of trusting God? Because where's there's that meme that says, "Baby, if God don't do it, it ain't getting done." Okay, rest, rest. I want to encourage you, rest. So we are going to get into some painting techniques, and I'm going to show you how you can do this, whether you have pouring paint or whether you have regular acrylic paint, and you can use pouring medium or you can use water. Yeah, water. Either way, it's going to work. So if you see, so I know all of it's not going to show up in the other camera angle. These are my materials over here, and we are focusing on the color blue for the month of July. And let's get into what the color blue represents. So, blue in color psychology represents calm, clarity, peace. It's often associated with deep breathing, mental stillness, creating a space for surrender and spiritual listening, supporting emotional recovery from stress and burnout, inspiring truth, trust, and inner balance. Blue is a color, it can be a color of productivity, it can also be a color of understanding. And so, tranquility, you know. Also, biblically, blue is associated with heavenly grace, divine presence, the Holy Spirit. Uh, Still waters and clear skies remind us that God's peace is already promised to us. Blue is a representation of heaven. It's a representation of so many beautiful things. And so, depending on where you are in your life right now, what what areas do you need more blue in your life? Now, I know y'all see me, and I typically wear my hair purple, and it's not just because I well, yes, I like the color purple, but it's not just because of that. So when I started digging into color psychology and exploring color and what colors represent and what they mean, and I found out that purple represented royalty, it represented creativity, it represented spirituality. These are all things that resonate with me very heavily, and I feel like I embody this color. And so that is why I wear my hair purple. So you just learned something about me and why I do what I do with this whole thing, right? But this month, our focus is not purple. Our focus is blue. So let's turn on the other angle so we can begin seeing what's going on over there. So if you are someone who is ready to do a pour of this sort, what you would want to do is gather, something to hold the mess. I have a aluminum baking tray. Like, we keep supplies simple over here. These are things that you can grab at the Dollar Tree, 99-cent store if it still exists in your area, all the things, right? So we keep it simple and get your canvas. You can get canvas from the Dollar Tree as well. So what I have is canvas, paint, and we're gonna get into it in just 1 second. I just realized I need to do this real quick. All right. And there we go. All right, that's done. Now, let's get into it. So, what we have here, I've got two kinds of paint. So, we have ready to pour paint, which you can get Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I think I've even seen some at like Dollar Tree Plus, so that is an option. So we've got ready to pour paint, and then I have regular acrylic paint, and I'm going to show you how we can make this regular acrylic paint useful for a pour in just a second. So we're going to get into that right now. Hopefully the sound is good and y'all can hear me. Hey, Brittany. So I'm about to do a pour. So what we are going to do here is, and y'all don't judge me, I could not find my plastic sticks. So we're going to use these plastic forks because that's just what I had available. I couldn't find my wood sticks. So I want to use these colors. So these are all the colors that I'm using. Let me see if I put these in the camera. You can see them. So this is Ready for Paint Ultramarine Blue. And then I've got, it's like a turquoise. I might not put this in there because it says green. So I may not put this in there because our focus is blue. So we're just going to put that one to the side. And I've got a little phthalo blue. I don't know how much is left in this one. And I have some sky blue here. So then I also have true blue. Okay. Got some true blue and this Caribbean blue. This blue is so pretty. I am a huge fan of this blue. I love this blue. And so that is what we are going to use. And then, of course, we need some base layer so that things can flow. So I have here just some white, and we're going to use this Ready for white to lay down a base layer so that we can get things going. So I'm going to slide this right here for a second, and I'm going to bring into view my cups. Let me see. Yeah, that's a good one. So I'm going to bring these into view, and I'm going to show you how to take your regular acrylic paint. So, I mean, you don't have to spend extra money if you already have art supplies at home. This is, you can use what you already have in order to accomplish this technique. So what you need to do, here's some water. Now you could spend money on pouring medium. That is an option. However, we're not going to do that today. So instead of using pouring medium, we're going to use water. And so I'm just going to pour a nice little amount of the true blue in this cup, like so. And then I'm going to pour some of the Caribbean blue in this cup, like so, right? And then what you want is to add a little water into each. Not too much, because you don't want to mess up the binders inside them, but you want to mix it up. You want to mix it up until you get a nice consistency in your paint, all right? I hope you guys can see that. Maybe I should go this way or lean it this way. So that's what you want to do here. You want it to kind of have a bit of a running flow. And I'm going to do the same here with this one. And this is definitely better. Definitely better than Popsicle Sticks, but hey, whatever. We make it work. We do what we do. Okay. I'm gonna put just a little bit more paint in there because I feel like it's too watery. And that's the thing. This is just kind of like an experiment. with making your own, but I promise you it works. Promise you it works. All right. And also, one of the things that I like to do, just so that too much paint doesn't get wasted, um, I like to keep it kind of to a minimum how much paint is used. So like an 8x10 canvas will only require about maybe 4 ounces of paint to get full coverage of your canvas. This right here, this is like a 2 ounce souffle cup. So you could essentially use this and not waste a whole lot of paint. Um, I know sometimes in the creative process we can just like to let stuff flow, and that's cool. But I also understand the economy. Pockets is tight, right now, So there's ways that you can go about this and not rake your pockets dry. Okay, so now we've got some other blue options here besides these. And so the thing that I love about the dirty pour technique is it kind of starts off a little crazy because what you do is you put all of your colors inside the same cup, right? So you put all your colors in the same cup. And it sounds pretty crazy, but I promise you in the end, it turns out looking pretty amazing. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna pull this back into view a little better. Get this water out the way. And let's just lay down this white because the whole purpose of this is for it to be able to flow. And one of the things that I have come to understand in my healing process is that sometimes you just gotta go with the flow of what's happening in your life at the moment. It may not feel good. It may not always be what you expect it to be, but still you roll with it. Roll with the punches. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna spread this out. And we're gonna let's take this. Now I'm just gonna kind of spread this white out on the canvas so that when I put this blue down, when I put down the blue, it's got something to help it move along and shift along. So this is actually a little bit bigger than what I typically use. I typically use 8x10s when I do my workshops because I do host hardcore workshops where we will go through and we do some writing, some journaling, some reflecting, and we look at the color meanings and we examine where we are. We take mental inventory, where we are in our mind, where we are in our body, where we are in our spirit, and we just really reflect. And we choose colors based on where we are in the moment. And the beautiful thing about taking it in this way is while we may feel one way in June. Come July, we may not feel the same way. We may feel like we need different colors, and that's fine, and that's beautiful, right? It's all relative to where you are, and that's why I love this technique because it is something that you can do no matter where you are. It's ever changing and it evolves. And then you can take inventory and you can see where you've been, right? You can take inventory and see where you've been. Where were you in where were you in June? What colors did you choose? Why did you choose those colors? Then it gives you it's like a visual journal for your life and for your process. And then you can go back and look and be like, oh my gosh, look at where I've come. Like, yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. And so there's that. And I want to smooth this out. Smooth. So let's see. Now, this is just kind of like a base layer to give things some flow. And depending on how you are feeling, you can even it out, you can make it more smooth. But the way I'm feeling in my life right now, it's looking a little rocky. So we're gonna leave the rocky. And I typically like to use gloves because this can get messy. So I'm gonna put my gloves on so I don't have paint all over my hands. And I'm going to begin to use this here. And I'm going to pour some of this blue in here. So I've got this blue and let's go here with this one. Got this in here. Let's separate it with some light because those blues are kind of similar. We're gonna put some white in the mix. And I'm gonna take this one the one that we made, add it to the mix, and then put some more true blue. Let's see, I feel like these blues might be too close together, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Okay, maybe they're not. So there is some difference there. And go back to this blue. Drop that in there. And let's see. This one, I don't know if there's anything left in it, but we're gonna give it a try. See if anything. Oh, something's coming out. All right. Not a whole lot, but a little something. We got a little something out of it. Okay. So you can see I've pretty much filled up this cup with my paint. And now we're going to take it and we're going to pour. And we're just going to see how it all ends up flowing. So now, let's see. We've done that. Put that there so we don't get mess on the table. And now we just kind of let the paint move and see where it all goes. And kind of let it do its thing. See where these waves, where it takes us on this ride. Ride the wave. Now, one thing you can do is utilize a blow dryer of some sort, which I wonder if my blow dryer is here. Is it down here? I don't think it is. I wish it was, because some of the stuff I just kind of want to know it around. But it's giving like ocean. So it's so funny where you just kind of want certain things to go a certain way, and then the paint just is like, no, I don't feel that way. And you like try and tilt it, and it's like, no, I want to go this way instead. And so you just let let things do what they're gonna do. And see the blues kind of making their way. And since this canvas is a bit bigger than one I normally use, I'm gonna give myself some more, me myself some more paint. It's still very white. Very white. So let's not get paint all over everything, shall we? And I'm going to use this same cup. This canvas is slightly bigger than what I'm used to. And I'm gonna go ahead and use this uh to me it's like it's in the blue family. But that's it's still in the blue family, which y'all know. I think it's still relatively blue. I think it's still relatively blue. And one thing I'm gonna do, because when I added this to the cup, I feel like there was too much water and not enough paint. So I'm gonna pour just a bit more paint into this mixture so that we can get it different consistency. So like you want it to be kind of creamy, if you will. Like you want it to be creamy. So I don't know, can y'all see that in the camera? How it's like running? Um, that's what you want. You don't want it to be super just water. You want you want it to still have some paint thickness. And I think that last go around it was a little too watery. And that's fine. So now let's add just a tad bit. Add a tad bit. And since I put some more in there, let's put some more in here. I'll have to come back and show y'all how this dries. When it dries, let's drop just a little bit more. This green up in here. This time, I did not put any white in the cup to separate the colors. It's just all the blues and a little bit of that green. But that green, it looked blue to me. It looked blue to me. It looks like it fits in the blue family to me. Okay. But you know what? I feel like that one is still it's pretty watery still. Yeah, I put too much water in it. That's all right though. So now we're gonna give it another layer. And this time we're just gonna see how it all goes. So this time I want to kind of cover probably some of that slide out. Now we're gonna see what this next layer does. Let me know in the comments, how do you feel about the color blue? Do you like the color blue? Is it a color that you wear often, use often, decorate with it? Like, how do you feel about the color blue? Let me know. Let me know. Because this is pretty. I like how the inside of this is looking. I don't know. Hopefully the lights you can see it, but the inside of the cup, it's pretty. It's pretty. All right, now let's do some tilting here. Let's see what we end up with this way. Take it around. Gonna let that go off the edge there. Bring it back. Bring it back. Take that. Okay. Not all of them were touched. I'm gonna come in. I don't know. Is this in the camera? I think it's the second. Let's come in with some beads. Kind of. I feel like there's too much blue right here of that color. Not enough of the other. I'm gonna green and this white. There. Bring it around like so. Now you gotta let it do its thing. Let it dry. Next, what we ended up with is, let's see, I think I want to blow on this little part right here, but really not. And I'm gonna go back and make on the shirt. Let's spread that out a little bit. And I think it We've got something here, y'all. Gonna let it dry. Take these gloves off. Gloves off. Take the gloves off. And now we have to let it dry. And I like how this looks right now. I was able to get rid of a lot of that extra white that was in here. Let me see. I think you can see all parts of it now. So I like it. I like it. Let me flip it so you can see it all different ways. You can see all angles of it. I believe this is an 11 by 14 canvas. So you can check it out. Now it's got to do its thing. It's got to dry. Let it dry in here. Okay, good. I saw this little drip right here, and I thought that maybe I spilled on the table, but I didn't. No mess. That is why I do this inside these pans because it's no mess. No real mess to clean up. I can let this sit here and dry and let it do its thing. So, yeah, that is essentially a dirty pour in a nutshell. It's pretty pretty easy to accomplish. You can accomplish some pretty dope stuff with it. Let me come back on the camera. So yeah, that is essentially how the technique works. It's really easy. You can pour all of your colors into one cup. And the revelation that I got when I started doing this technique was like, honestly, no matter what we go through, because life pours a lot of different things into our cup, right? Life can be messy. There's a lot of things that we experience and a lot of things that we go through. However, just because there's a lot of things in our cup and it may look ugly, what gets poured out, God can take any type of mess and turn it into something beautiful. And so that's why I love this technique. That's why I use this technique in my workshop because everybody's life experience is different. Everyone's cup comes with so many different things. What's in my cup is not what's in your cup. But regardless of whose cup it is, when you put that cup in God's hands and you allow Him to do what He promised He would do, and you rest in Him and you rest in knowing that He is going to do what He said He's going to do, He's going to fulfill every promise that He made to you, even when it doesn't look like it's manifesting the way you think it's supposed to look like. God is doing stuff in the background. So I just want to encourage you, trust the process. Trust Him. Rest in Him. Rest in knowing that you don't have to hustle in a sense of making things work in your own strength, because it's in His strength that everything that you need comes into being, right? So that is what I have for y'all. We finished our pour. It's awesome. It's blue. I would love to see yours if you try it. Go ahead and tag me in all the things if you try and do it. And I want to extend the invitation if this is something that you enjoy, if you would like to follow along with our color themes and our focus and our devotions, then please join in on the Heart for Creative Wellness community. It is an online community, so you can join from no matter where you are in the world. And we dive deep into these devotionals. We dive deep into where we are and we reflect because you cannot grow without reflecting. You cannot grow without looking within. So this is the space for you. If you're into art, if you're into creative expression, if you're into journaling and writing and reflecting, I have space for you. And you are definitely more than welcome to join me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I hope you have an amazing evening. Don't forget that rest is not a reward, rest is necessary, especially to my people who want to do 50, 11 things. Like rest. Rest is a part of productivity because you cannot think clearly if you are not rested. So take rest. Okay? That that's all I have for you now. Bye guys.